We are live, still in Savannah, Georgia, and we've got Mr. Jay Jack. Awesome presentation. Jay, it was called Windows and Dog Training, is that right?
Windows, creating clarity for a livable dog.
Okay.
Yep.
It was like a comedy show, I'll tell you. My cheeks hurt, and everybody in there, everyone's coming out, and I saw people like literally rubbing their faces. I think they were trying to get their cheeks to go back down.
Ideally, there's also information in it, but I tend to make people laugh a little bit.
No, it was awesome. There's so much good information, and it's, we won't bore people with all the well, they wouldn't be bored. We're not going to give you all the details. You should be here.
Yeah, right.
But give us just a high-level overview of what you talked about, your most kind of important points.
Brief overview of the idea of Windows is the idea that I believe people achieve clarity through a ton of obedience and micromanaging structure. And that's fine when it's necessary, but I think it tends to be overused because people aren't aware of any other way to do it. And the idea of Windows is to try to create clarity through explaining to the dog what the opportunities in front of them are in the moment. So for example, there's a go find your own fun, like chase the rabbit, dig the hole, run around and scream at the moon. There's play with me, where we're going to play tug, we're going to play fetch, we're going to wrestle, we're going to have that moment of drive expression together. And then there's you're not under any orders, but you're calm. You're free, but calm. And the issue for most dogs is that they're not most dogs. Most dogs are good at reading the room and don't need a dog trainer, right? The highest percentage of dogs don't need help reading the room. But when dogs need help reading the room and they fail to be able to find clarity naturally, we tend as dog trainers to come in and make a new window that we made up called work. Sit down, stand, heel, place, come, crates, and things like that. And that's great because it's a way to help a dog find structure that's struggling, but then I think we tend to overuse it and never wean off. And then dogs don't get to experience those other naturally occurring fun lifestyle enhancing windows, and their lifestyle is reduced. And there's this battle between structure and fulfillment. And if you can give the dog an idea of what time it is and when they are and aren't allowed to go into those moments, you can give them more access to those moments and use obedience less. It's just a little unique, a little left of center of typical dog training. It's not crazy and it's not very different. But when you see the best trainers, they have this life with their dog where their dog's not under a bunch of orders, but they totally read the play and know how to operate. And that's where people struggle getting to. They get stuck in the micromanagement phase. And this is a way to try to help people find their way to that more fun partnership with a dog where they know what they should be doing and you don't have to tell them what to do as much.
So you killed it. I mean, people they absolutely loved it. And I can tell you, there were hundreds of dog trainers in that room. And when there were a couple points in particular, I saw everyone taking notes. So I was able to stand in the back. And when you were talking about dogs stuck in that working window and talking about the place command at the front door, I saw notebooks out and I saw pens writing. And I think you hit a lot of people with that one.
That's cool, man.
A lot of trainers are thinking, maybe I'm overusing that place.
And I think, isn't a replay of that available for ICP members?
Yeah, so that'll be worked on. Yep, and so that'll be coming out hopefully before too long.
Next time there's a conference up, don't miss that because I did a presentation on Flexies years ago. I did one on Tug that was recorded. Members can still get access to it. And the one I did on Flexies didn't get recorded. So if you didn't make it live that year, you didn't see it. So this one, you're lucky that they recorded it, so you still have access to it as long as you're an ICP member.
It was amazing. You'll be cracking up at home by yourself watching it. So we've got some live questions.
What do we got?
Yep.
All natural, no surgeries. Go ahead.
So let me repeat that just so everyone can hear. So the question is, Jay talks a lot about pictures. If you fix the picture but not the problem, there's still an underlying problem, how do you get buy-in from a client to achieve that? Is that good?
So honestly, it's an ability to motivate them to see the idea that you're talking about. Because what happens is, like with a dog, we want the dog to place, and the dog doesn't want to place. And so now we're stuck with, how do I motivate this being to find interest in this thing that they're not interested in? Our entire job is creating motivation in a being that doesn't have it on their own. And so we come up with positive motivation. We come up with let's build relationship. We come up with all these ways to try to make the dog feel like it. We shape it. We do all this stuff to make them feel like, yeah, that is a good idea. I do want to fucking place with you. I'm cursing again. Is that
Yeah.
cool?
It's live, no big deal.
I do want to place. I do want to place, right? And then when we fail to be able to find that motivation, we can default to a little negative reinforcement of, hey, listen, you have to do the place command, right? The issue is that maybe 30 years ago, 40 years ago, we decided that negative reinforcement purely was not the best way to reach a dog and have them be motivated. Now, negative reinforcement's a wonderful way to create reliability to a minimum standard, but it's not a good way to create enjoyment in the process or to increase excellence, seeking of excellence. Positive reinforcement's great at building the attitude of the process and at creating a sense of seeking excellence. It's not a good way to create reliability. It's a great way to create motivation. With dogs 30 years ago, we realized the importance of positive motivation, and we try to really focus on positive motivation and back it up with a little negative. But when we're talking to humans, what model do we use? If you don't fix this problem, you're going to lose your dog. If you don't fix this problem, you're going to lose your leash. If you don't fix this problem, you're going to have wasted your money on this program. If you don't, we work purely negative reinforcement with humans. Does that make sense? And then it's like we get a reliance to minimum standard, which is why they stop when you fix the picture but not their problem, because just fixing their picture makes the pressure go away. So if all they're doing is relieving the pressure, they'll stop when the pressure comes off. But if you can convince them that there's an enjoyable reason to seek forward, if you can convince them that the paradigm is awesome and this is fun and I want to pursue excellence too, they don't stop when they fix their picture. They're still motivated to continue in the process. But you have to shift your modality with people from a purely negative reinforcement model to get the same results you get with your dogs. People are like, wait a minute, what? You're supposed to say some shit like people suck. It's just hard, man. That's a bummer in the business. You know what I mean? Go ahead.
Okay, so dog rescue, we do a lot of power breed dogs. For a dog that's coming in after decompression, going through the basics, that's our heading. Then you have, you're not seeing, it should be a driving dog, but they're really shut down.
Sure.
How do you kind of access that? Where do you start to try to build that relationship to be able to do the things?
Yeah. So there's this idea that
Let me repeat that real quick,
ahead,
just so they
sorry.
can hear. Or do you want to come over and say it into the mic? Or I can repeat it for you. So
you're like, no, I got warrants.
let's do it. Come on
I'm
over.
not doing that. I got warrants. Blur my face.
I've been so excited to
Yeah, come on.
oh boy.
Yep, totally planned.
Here, I'll hold it for you.
I was
Go for it.
I thought that pivoted.
The question is, so for dogs coming into rescue that should be pretty drivey, you look at them and think they should be drivey dogs, be able to have fun, but they're shut down. They've had crappy experiences, not a lot of trust. Where do you start? How do you open that window for them? Like, what's your go-to moves with those dogs?
Love it.
So there's a couple of things, right? Two branches of this. One, there's this idea of exposure and trust. Some dogs don't play the games because they've never seen them. They don't know what they are. Some dogs don't play the games because they see the idea but don't necessarily trust you to play. You know what I mean? They're like, you don't know me at all. You know what boxing is. You don't know me at all. I'm like, hey, you want to box? you might be like, I don't know. Now, if I approach you with a game like, hey, do you want to play checkers? You might be more willing to play checkers with me because checkers is a game that doesn't require as much vulnerability or trust, right? And so a lot of the games that we tend to think of, tug, you know what I mean, wrestling, roughhousing, all this kind of stuff, they're competitive games that mimic combat, which can be wildly fun and super reinforcing and super fulfilling for dogs that enjoy doing that or that trust you enough to do that with you. But if a dog doesn't trust you that much, there's a whole swath of other games, non-competitive, supportive games where I'm just your cheerleader and not so much your opponent. And sometimes it's easier for them to find trust and the ability to be vulnerable with you in those moments because they don't need you to be the kind of, like, because if we're playing a combat game together and you mistake mock combat for real combat, we could be in trouble. And we have to set boundaries and penalties on each other related to our interaction. And if you don't trust me enough to do that, or you don't trust my ability to do that, you're not going to open up to me. But in a supportive game, it's less confrontational, and so it might open them up more, right? So there's expanding into games, learning a whole host of games, some competitive, some non-competitive, things like that. so you can try to branch out and find a way to reach them. And then there's tons of stuff, like I don't do scent work, nose work. I'm the spring pole, wall climb, treadmill, you know what I mean? I'm that guy. And there's some dogs that come to me in all the games that I tend to play, they're like, no, but that dog really wants to do freaking nose work. And so I'm like, shit, I can see there's an avenue that we can expand into that I don't know. I either have to learn it or refer out, but I'm going to experiment with finding the thing they like. I think what we do is like people with their kids. I played soccer, so I put my kid in soccer. My kid needs something after school. And I like the bass guitar and fucking soccer, but like they might like the clarinet and rugby. I don't know, you know what I mean? So you got to, don't just put them in the things that you think they ought to do or the things that you are familiar with. Be open to expanding into a bunch of other games, because gameplay doesn't have to be the ones that we're familiar with. And there's competitive and non-competitive things like that. So that's one thing. And then there's this avenue of like understanding it might take exposure time. There's some dogs that like I'll offer them the opportunity for play. I'm not begging them. We're not Eugene. That was in the seminar if you didn't find it right. But I'm offering the opportunity. I'll go out, me and him will throw the ball back and forth, and we just let the dog sit. And we're going to do that 30 minutes a day. And if he just wants to sit and watch us, cool. And there's a bunch of dogs that day 7, day 8, week 2, stand up and go, maybe I could get in that. And you're like, hey, brother, if you want to. I didn't beg you. I didn't coerce you. I didn't go get in the van. But, like, that ability to expose them to it without want, 100%. But people don't trust, dogs don't trust Eugenes. Have you ever tried to catch, we had a dog that we lost one time. They got lost in the woods. And we were blown away by this because we're like, well, we'll just go out in the woods and call them. And the person with the lost dog thing was like, do not do that. They will not come. And we're like, you're out of your mind. That dog was feral. We put that dog's crate with that dog's bowl and blanket and food in the middle of the woods, baited with food, and put a trail cam and saw that dog. It's their crate. And they were 10 yards away. This is a fucking trap. And like, it took 3 days for them to eat out of the crate. That's their, like, that level of like, once they're in that defensive mindset, the level of this is a trap, be careful, is crazy. And so all of our like, hey, you want a drink? You want to get in the van? You want me to? And you're like, they're just like, no. That idea, I say this in relationship stuff all the time. My model of relationship is want for, not from. I want for you to have this amazing game. I don't want from you to play with me. I don't need you to do this. I don't want anything from you. I want for you. And so I'm going to give you this opportunity. If you don't want it, it's no problem. But it is here for you if you want it. I do not need it. I do not want it. I'm not trying to tug on your t-shirt. You know what I mean? But I think people are about a minute and a half into like, get in the van, and if it doesn't work, they're like, this dog has no drive. So I think giving real exposure to opportunity without coercive desire, that's one important element. And then there's expand the types of games that you play, because one thing, my pit bull Mabel, amazing, old family red, wildly violent, dog aggressive pit bull, didn't do any pit bull games. No spring pole, no treadmill. We got a weight pull title on her, but it was a total soccer dad moment. And after I did it, I was like, probably should stop because she's not into this. You know what I mean? Didn't do any pit bull games. She identified it as a husky. We taught her to candy cross. We taught her to fucking bike jor. And she went and did races. Like, she lived life as a husky. But I was at least open-minded enough to go, if that's who you are, that's what we do, and not cram her into the pit bull games. So branch out your exposure to different games and think about not being Eugene, offering the opportunity but not wanting from. I sound like such a hippie.
No, good answer.
I look like I kill people and I sound like a hippie.
So I don't think we have time for more questions, but just real quick, you need to go eat lunch, but
yeah, right.
Where's the next stop on your tour?
Mandy, where's the next stop on the tour? New York.
Okay.
When? New York at Jen Wolf's place sometime in the future. I think September. September, right? I think in September.
All right.
Dude, I'm a horrible business person. I don't know. NLdogs.com is the website. Up-to-date appearances. If you want to go there, go there. You can get all the links and stuff. I'm a horrible business person. I should have that like next week in Poughkeepsie or something. I just don't. I don't know.
We need a sign for you.
I know, it's terrible.
Well, thank you, Jay. Appreciate
Absolutely,
it, man.
It's good seeing you.